being able to really connect and find someone that can give you insight and really direct what makes sense for a heritage night, especially if you don't live and breathe that heritage yourself, is really, really helpful. Anyone else have any comments or thoughts on heritage nights or what's been, maybe successful this year for you?
Um, this isn't necessarily this year, but we're in a unique situation where we sell out a lot of games. So we didn't do it this year, but in 2023 and I believe 2024, we did daughter date nights. Typically, I work for the WNBA, so trying to encourage, a lot of girls to come to the games. And so that was really popular, something that people really missed in 2025, in fact. But through that, a lot of people I know you were saying are asking about how many of those people convert to membership. In our standpoint, we see a lot of people get like 5 game packages with their daughter after coming to a game or so doing that experience. So
That's awesome.
we're thinking
We
about
also
bringing that back in 2026. I believe that's gonna at least come up once because everybody missed it last year. So
I love it, Amari. And Kyra, I know you handled putting together with the Tucson Roadrunners their Barbie night that ended up being a father-daughter type night. Do you want to speak to a little bit to some of the things that they did with that one? Because that was cool too.
Yeah, they tailored that to be like a daddy-daughter, father-daughter experience. It was Barbie night. They encouraged everybody to wear pink. Their marketing team got behind it. Keep me honest, I forget how many tickets, but I think it was over 300 tickets that were sold through
I would say it was
Spinzone.
almost 400, I
400
think.
tickets. Yeah, they
Yeah.
had all kinds of different in-game activation with like Barbie themed, like photo opportunities and stuff like that. So it was a really fun night.
They had a pink fanny pack that they gave out and sold. And then the father-daughter experience, I know there was a special like post-game slap shot and photo
Hmm.
experience too. But that was an upgrade. So like as we talked about at the beginning with theme nights, creating this like, hey, you can just come and be a part of the theme night and enjoy all the things that are available. But if you really want to like dive into the theme night, buy the upgraded option. And I think that's a great way to continue to generate additional revenue. So they did that as well. A couple other just kind of information from this MLB article because I thought it was really interesting. Some of the biggest draws, this was according to fans. They surveyed fans. The biggest draws, I thought these were interesting. Jersey was number one. Fireworks were number two. So I know a lot of us indoor people, we can't do fireworks per se, right? T-shirt was number three. A cap or a hat was four. And then a concert was five. And I thought that was really interesting because I think a lot of times we're like, oh yeah, a concert will draw, a concert will draw. And a concert is so expensive. Fireworks are expensive too, don't get me wrong. But they were more compelled to go to a game for a jersey or a t-shirt. Like, a t-shirt or a hat, a jersey, a t-shirt or a hat is more compelling than a concert. So I think it's interesting perspective wise. Sometimes we get so caught up in what we think will be cool. But this again, MLB, but I think there's, sports fans in general have a lot of similar cues that a jersey or a t-shirt does just as much as a fireworks show and more than a concert. Interesting. Anyone have feedback or thoughts on that?
Well, I could geek out another category. I'm a hobbyist weather watcher and weather buff, and we've seen some good weather education days. And what you get there, well, you might get a T-shirt, but you get an education on how on how weather works. You have a
Yay!
meteorologist in the field. So the Phillies did one of those that I just came across online last year, sponsored by the like a local TV channel that does weather. And we had done this for the last few years for the New England Revolution.
Yeah.
Um, so sometimes it's just drawing them to a pre-event, something pre-event where you
Mhm.
learn something.
Another one that's a geek out thing, Emmanuel, and I know you know about this, is there's a number of teams that do chess tournaments and work with local chess groups. So, as an avid chess player or previous avid chess player,
I used to be a good chess player, so now I can't attend these events anymore. I'd be embarrassed.
right, right. A niche audience. Other ideas that people have that were working this year or new or took off?
Um, I think, and this is something that I did when I worked on the team side, is women's nights are usually typically popular. I know a lot of teams run those. And I think some of the good ones that we saw were the Blue Jackets did a hockey and her event where they showed like basic skills. And then also the Trailblazers do one for women in business. I know a lot of teams do ones for women in business and sort of like have a panel, something you can attend maybe pre-game or on a dark day. Does anybody else have
Totally.
any women's night success?
And that continues my theme of some pre-event education on learning hockey skills or women in business.
Mhm.
That's good.
I think there's oh, go ahead, Mario.
I was just gonna say I
Yeah, Mary.
hosted a panel, a women in sports panel with some local women in sports in Atlanta. That went really well. It wasn't marketing backed last year. However, they want to grow off of it this year. So sort of going to expand to something a lot larger. Last year we had around like 50 or 60 in attendance, but trying to grow that a lot more. It's going to be like a women's empowerment night.
Love it, Amari.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing about Women's Empowerment Night. I think for us, we tried it last year, kind of in connection with with the new NWSL team here in Denver.
Hmm.
That was when they were kind of just getting started, and we're not connected in any way, but we're friendly in it. So we're kind of reevaluating this year because we had some good success, but I think it was mainly due to the connection with the Denver Summit. So with them having their they're trying to like break the NWSL record for most tickets sold in a game at the Broncos Stadium, so it might not be the best for it. But yeah, a lot of new fans, girls soccer teams. We tried to all the experiences we have around the stadium, give them to girls teams, things like that. So kind of tying into the night, which I think is something that we did well last year. Might not do again this year, but I think it definitely goes to show that there's more there's opportunity there for sure.
Yeah, love it, Mario. And I think you brought up a great point. I see Christina's on the call too. One of the things I was going to mention, I've started to see more of, and I think there was a time when we were like, oh yeah, we can't work together, but crossover nights and utilizing other teams in your marketplace and working and collaborating together and hosting nights for each other. I know, obviously, Cronky, you guys own four teams in the market, so that makes it a little easier to work together. But you're also working with the Rockies and a couple others. I don't know, Christina, if you want to speak to that, or if you're able to.
Yeah, sorry for the background noise. I'm out enjoying a walk during this call, but
Good for
yeah,
you.
we're partnering with the other local sports teams, as you mentioned, and Mario alluded to do a giveaway item that's co-branded between the teams. And we've seen a lot of success and interest in working with those teams to get I guess, a pre-sale offer out to their member base. We've seen a real big draw for the one we're doing with the Avalanche coming up in January, and we've only promoted that to their members so far and haven't gone publicly. So, yeah, and then the
Awesome.
plan is to incorporate, if available and in market during that time frame, some of those teams, players, or entertainment assets, providing them a table for sales information when we host that night.
Awesome. I love it. I think that's such a great, I mean, it's such a simple thing, but could be really impactful in finding those buyers in market that may want to, to be a part of both teams. And it's a win-win. I love it. Thank you, Christina.
Of course. Thank you.
A couple other ideas that I saw out there, that I feel like we've seen a lot more trending of runners' nights are really partnering with local races. So the Brooklyn Nets are doing a lot with some of the races there, the New York Marathon and a couple others. I've also seen like the Seattle Kraken had a runners' night and they gave away, or they had a belt, like the runner's belt with it. I know a lot of teams have their own 5Ks too. But if if you're not ready to take on a 5K as a team, I mean, maybe it's just starting to work with those races and offering something, giving them a complimentary ticket or a special ticket offer with a, dedicated email list potentially, or just a promo code. So that's another one that we've started to see, tackling that community. Obviously, they're sporty in their own right mind. So getting them involved in your organization is always good.
Yeah, we're actually, the dream is looking at potentially doing a 5K this year. Pretty popular in Atlanta, but wanting to do something around like women's empowerment month, also in like March.
Yeah.
And then it's too hot to run during our season during the summer, so that's why we sort of pivoted like that. But that is a thought, and we've been trying to get that planned and figuring out who we're going to work with. But we have a lot of runners, so just in terms of on our corporate staff, so really nice to uh, sort of pick their brain on that because I do not run at all.
I love it. I think it's a great idea. It's a good way to get into a new market too. Other ideas that are working well or that are, taking off, or questions about ideas that you've seen other teams do that they're successful at.
Denise, I have a question maybe for you or the group, and I know we already do a little bit of that, but like, has anybody had any success selling like multi-game packages on Spinzo? Like, I know that's not traditional to a group, so to speak, but in the form of selling 3-game packs, 5-game packs, different things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of what we've seen is like something themed as like a holiday package, or where it's really, hey, you're buying a 2-game or a 3-game package, but you don't have to pick the games up front. It could be something that's gifted. I know Taylor's on here from the Valero Texas Open, and they do some offers where they say, hey, you can buy your tickets to our tournament, but you don't have to select the day that you want to go until later. So we're generating that unique code. It's worth a certain value, and then they can come redeem later. So that's where we've really seen the success. Again, with those, it's typically when it's packaged with a special exclusive item. And most of the success that we've seen has really been around some sort of theme. So holiday, or it has like, the beginning of the season and it's something to start the season off, or it's something that, is towards the end of the season and has some sort of exclusive tag, or even tied to around a player, something that's really tied to a player, and then you get some sort of exclusive item to the player. Spinzo team, keep me honest if I missed any of the things that we see with that.
I was just going to give my personal opinion on these multi-game plans. One of the problems, and we see this demographically, is if you have pre-assigned plans, like you could pick this set of 3 games or those set of 3 games, you're going to have a very hard time converting because people don't know what they're doing months in advance. So the idea here is to sell some kind of 3-game plan or voucher pack of 3 or 5, and they could pick their games at their leisure. And we do this holiday pack, as Denise mentioned. Salt Lake Bees, they have a success every year.
Yes.
For these packs. It's like a 10-game voucher pack. They might have a 5-game voucher pack too. And those work very well because it's flexible and it's giftable for the holidays. So if you find you're not converting well on a multi-game plan, you might consider making it not a defined plan. So you can pick 3 games out of these 20, for example, at a later date.
Hope that helps, Justin. Anyone else have any feedback on that if you touch that part of the business? No? Any other ideas or things that have worked this year that you're like, wow, this was really a successful promotion for us or stood out? No? So just a couple other tried and true ones that are still at the top of the list that we see coming through. Hometown heroes, so like military, police, first responders are doing very, very well. Star Wars is still at the top. Either a spring or a holiday sing event, those do very, very well. So where you're engaging with elementary schools to come and sing on the concourse and their set songs. Junior sports programs, whether that be like with, like a junior soccer program and a redemption program, junior basketball programs. We have some exclusive programs like a MasterCard program. So through the PGA Tour, they did almost 20,000 tickets through their MasterCard offer this year. And then, GovX based offers. So military is definitely still something that is driving huge volume through the platform for sure. So some of it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just a matter of getting the message out and getting it into the hands of the right people. So the right price, the right bundle, and to the right audience. You know, it kind of comes back to the basics. Any last thoughts on success for 2025? No? Well, if there's no other thoughts, thank you for joining us. Hopefully you picked up an idea or two or heard something that sparked something that you can take into 2026. Ticket Playbook sessions will be back in 2026. We're working on some tweaks to them. We would love to get, more conversation going. So we may be bringing topics to the table that could be controversial, as controversial as ticketing topics can get, but topics that we really want to kind of hash out and say, hey, should dynamic pricing live in group sales? I don't know. Should flex plans is a flex plan really a flex plan when they have to pick the games up front? I don't know. Some people
Nope.
have different opinions. We know Emmanuel's opinion, but we definitely want to bring those things to the table. So if you have burning questions that you'd like to ask your fellow colleagues in the industry and kind of get answers on, we'd love to hear them. Feel free to send them to me. But yes, we will definitely be back in 2026 and have some fun Ticket Playbook sessions moving forward. So thank you all for joining. Happy holidays to all of you guys. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.